For the first time in centuries, researchers have uncovered what's believed to be Jesus' tomb.
Workmen uncovering the marble slab over the tomb. The historian Eusebius said he did it to cover the tomb where Jesus was buried.
For nearly 2,000 years, the tomb where Jesus was laid to rest has remained sealed, untouched by time. But now it's been opened once again. What could this extraordinary discovery mean for Christians around the world? Could this sacred site, hidden for centuries, hold clues that answer some of the most profound questions about faith and history? Join us as we uncover the remarkable new findings from the tomb of Jesus, discoveries that could forever change what we believe about the resurrection. Before we dive into this astonishing discovery, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more explorations into biblical history and faith-based mysteries. Your support helps us bring these incredible stories to life. In the heart of Jerusalem's Old City stands the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, one of Christianity's most sacred and revered sites. Every year, millions of believers from around the world journey here to walk in the footsteps of Jesus, to reflect on his death, burial, and resurrection. Inside this ancient church lies the tomb of Jesus, a place long shrouded in mystery, devotion, and awe. For centuries, it remained sealed, hidden beneath layers of marble, stone, and history, untouched by time, preserving secrets that no one had seen for nearly 2,000 years. But now, in a historic moment generations have waited for, the tomb has been opened. And what was uncovered inside this 2,000-year-old burial site could transform everything we thought we knew about the resurrection. What truths lie within these ancient walls? What new light might they shed on one of the greatest events in human history? The Church of the Holy Sepulchre isn't just a monument, it's a living testament to faith. Built in the 4th century by Emperor Constantine, this remarkable structure is believed to rise directly above the very ground where Jesus was crucified, buried, and rose again. Revered by millions, it stands as one of the most powerful symbols of hope and belief in the world. For almost 2,000 years, the exact location of Jesus' tomb remains surrounded by mystery and faith. The church that houses it has stood the test of time, enduring wars, fires, and political turmoil. Yet through every challenge, it has remained a powerful symbol of hope and spiritual unity for Christians across the world. Inside this sacred church lies one of Christianity's holiest places, the tomb of Jesus. Every year, countless pilgrims travel from every corner of the globe to stand before the stone believed to have sealed his body after the crucifixion. But for centuries, this sacred chamber had been closed, untouched, hidden, and waiting. This was more than just an archaeological effort. It was the unveiling of a profound spiritual and historical moment. As the restoration project began, the world's eyes turned toward the edicule, the small shrine built over the tomb itself. Covered in marble and cloaked by centuries of dust and time, the edicule had guarded its secret for generations. No one had dared to open it completely, until now. In an unprecedented moment in modern history, a team of archaeologists, scientists, and religious leaders came together to carefully lift each slab of ancient stone sealing the tomb. With every piece removed, the atmosphere grew tense, thick with reverence, wonder, and the weight of history. What they were about to uncover could reshape our understanding of faith and the story that has inspired billions for centuries. The walls of the tomb seemed alive with history, every surface whispering stories that had been buried for centuries. And then, as the final stone was lifted away, the world was given a rare glimpse into something truly sacred. A rock-hewn burial chamber, exactly as described in the Gospels. For the first time in more than 2,000 years, the tomb of Jesus stood open, unsealed and visible to the world. But what truly captured everyone's attention wasn't just what was inside, it was what was missing. For Christians everywhere, the empty tomb is far more than an archaeological site. It's the very heart of their faith. The resurrection of Jesus forms the foundation of Christianity, and the emptiness of his tomb is seen as undeniable proof of his triumph over death. According to the Gospel accounts, after Jesus was crucified, his body was placed in a tomb sealed with a massive stone. Roman guards were stationed outside to ensure it remained untouched, yet on the 3rd day, the stone was found rolled away, and the tomb was empty. The angel's words, He is not here. He has risen, just as he said, marked the moment that forever changed the course of history. For believers, this isn't just a story from the past. It's a promise of eternal life. As archaeologists peered into the newly opened tomb, they saw exactly what the Gospels had described: a hollow, rock-carved chamber, empty of any human remains. The significance was profound. The place once believed to have held the body of Jesus Christ had been empty for over 2 millennia, a powerful symbol of victory over death and the grave. While carefully clearing away layers of dust, stone, and time, the team made a remarkable discovery: the original burial bed, carved directly into the limestone rock. This was more than a scientific breakthrough. It was a moment of spiritual revelation. For the first time in 2,000 years, the tomb believed to be that of Jesus was fully revealed, a rock-hewn chamber astonishingly well preserved, sealed away from the world for centuries, now uncovered for all to see. The team worked with deep reverence, fully aware of the immense spiritual and historical weight of what they were uncovering. Each stone they carefully removed felt like a step back through time, a step closer to the very heart of Christianity itself. As the ancient layers were revealed, it became clear that this was far more than the uncovering of a physical tomb. It was the rediscovery of a moment in history, one that has shaped faith, culture, and the human story for over 2,000 years. Yet as the team looked around, they noticed something remarkable. There were no bones, no remains, nothing but an empty chamber, exactly as the Gospels described. The tomb was still empty, just as it had been on that first Easter morning. But how could this be? That question hung in the air, heavy with wonder and mystery. The discovery of the empty tomb carries enormous significance, not just for archaeology, but for the very foundation of Christianity. This site, long believed to be the resting place of Jesus, stands at the center of Christian faith and devotion. But why had it remained sealed for so long? The answer lies in the tomb's deep spiritual and political importance. Over the centuries, both Roman and Christian leaders understood the extraordinary power this site held, the power to inspire faith, influence empires, and define identity. Because of that, it was protected, concealed, and preserved through the ages. For generations, the tomb lay hidden, forgotten by the outside world, but never lost in the hearts of believers. To the first followers of Jesus, the resurrection was not just a miracle. It was a divine act that conquered death itself. And now, as the modern team stood before this sacred space, they realized they weren't simply excavating an ancient structure. They were witnessing the unveiling of a spiritual milestone, a powerful reminder of faith, hope, and a mystery that continues to move the world to this very day. But this discovery opens the door to questions that reach far beyond history. Could this ancient site still be hiding more secrets, waiting just beneath the surface to be revealed? As the team continued their careful study of the newly exposed tomb, they began uncovering a series of remarkable details, not just physical artifacts, but new insights into the burial customs of the first century. The tomb itself was carved directly into solid limestone, a method consistent with Jewish traditions of that era. What stood out most was its unique design, a burial bed carved into the rock, perfectly matching the descriptions found in the Gospel accounts. Alongside this, the researchers discovered fragments of ancient stone and evidence of earlier restoration work, possibly dating as far back as the 4th century. These traces suggested that the tomb had been venerated and protected by early Christians long before the church was ever built around it. Yet the most extraordinary discovery wasn't something they found, it was what they didn't find. The tomb was empty, just as the Gospels described. But this emptiness was not a void, it was filled with meaning. It deepened the mystery and reaffirmed the tomb's profound spiritual significance. What did this emptiness truly signify? The answer perhaps lies at the heart of the resurrection itself. For countless believers, this tomb is far more than an archaeological site. It's a sacred space where faith and history meet. The reopening of Jesus' tomb stirred powerful emotions across the world. Scientists and archaeologists marveled at the evidence, but for millions of Christians, the meaning went far beyond science. To them, the empty tomb stands as the core of their faith, the eternal symbol of Jesus' victory over death and the foundation upon which Christianity is built. The resurrection is not just a story from the past, it's a living hope that continues to inspire believers today. As the archaeologists stood before the ancient chamber, they understood that they weren't merely uncovering stone and dust. They were standing in a place believed to mark the moment when death was defeated, where Jesus' promise of eternal life became real for humanity. The emotional weight of that realization touched everyone present. This was more than a discovery. It was an encounter with something sacred, something timeless. And yet, as faith and history converged within that holy space, one question still lingered. What does this discovery mean for the future of Christianity? The news of the tomb's opening echoed across the world, stirring reactions from religious communities, scholars, and everyday believers alike. For Christians, this was far more than an archaeological milestone. It felt like a spiritual affirmation. The empty tomb, revealed just as the Gospels describe, stood as a powerful symbol of Jesus' resurrection, a truth at the very heart of Christian faith. Across continents, church leaders, theologians, and believers were moved by the uncovering of such a sacred place. It wasn't just a headline, it was a moment that touched hearts and renewed faith. For many, this discovery made the stories of the Bible come alive in a tangible, unforgettable way. But the impact reached beyond the walls of the church. Historians and archaeologists around the world were fascinated, some even astonished, by how perfectly the tomb's design aligned with ancient biblical accounts. How could a site sealed for nearly 2 millennia still match the gospel descriptions so precisely? As the world absorbed the news, one thing became clear. This was a turning point, a discovery that reignited global conversations about faith, history, and the enduring message of Christianity. The revelation of the empty tomb is not just a moment in history. It's a living testament to the central truth of Christianity. Jesus is alive. For centuries, the empty tomb has stood as a symbol of hope, faith, and the promise of eternal life. And now, after 2,000 years, its meaning feels more profound than ever. Millions of pilgrims continue to visit the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, standing before the tomb not as tourists, but as witnesses to a sacred truth, a living encounter with the story of the resurrection. This discovery has brought the message of Easter to life in a deeply personal way, reminding believers that death was defeated and eternal life remains a promise to all who believe. Yet the impact of this discovery goes beyond religion. It reminds us of the unbroken bond between history and faith, inviting each of us to pause and reflect. What does the empty tomb mean for us today? The tomb may be empty, but its message is overflowing with meaning. Jesus lives, and because he lives, we can walk in hope, peace, and the assurance of salvation. As we stand before this ancient yet ever-living symbol, we are each faced with the same question. What does the empty tomb mean to you? The journey of faith is far from over. In fact, it has only just begun.